Hi, I'm Mo, and would you fuck me? I would fuck me.
And I'm TJ, and I ruined my girlfriend's father's birthday dinner yesterday by telling everyone we should watch Boogie Nights afterward.
And this is...
It's still new to us, damn it!
Welcome to It's Still New to Us, Dammit. I'm Mo, he's TJ, as we just said, and we are here to watch every movie ever made to become the smartest people ever.
That's right, and I think our IQ grew leaps and bounds with this one.
I think you did. I took an IQ test.
Yeah, how did it turn out?
I was 90, then became 91.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
an improvement.
Great.
All right.
Very good.
All right.
You're climbing up the bell curve.
Little by little. Anyway, for this week's show, we are doing Boogie Nights, released in 1997, directed and written by Paul Thomas Anderson, the auteur. Starring Mark Wahlberg, the departed rock star. Who can forget rock star?
That's probably his crowning achievement.
Definitely. Burt Reynolds, a silent movie. Yes, very classic of Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
And Smoking the Bandit 2.
He was proud of that one.
Yeah. Julianne Moore, The Big Lebowski, and next, the Nick Cage I Can See Into the Future movie, which I believe he does actually think that. So I don't know if that's a documentary or...
Maybe they'll explore that in that new movie coming out where he plays himself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle, Ocean's 11, Space Jam, A New Legacy.
Oh.
Yes. Philip Seymour Hoffman in Schenectady, New York, and Patch Adams. Yes.
Excellent.
Heather Graham in The Hangover, and Norm of the North.
Oh, I've heard that's a good one.
Yeah, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's got the infamous 0%.
Yeah, and Nicole Parker in The Incredibly True Adventure of Two Girls in Love, and Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins.
You didn't mention Nina Hartley in her credits.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't know. But I'll bring up some facts about her later. Okay, so those are people
Not that
starting...
we knew who she was.
Yeah, we didn't know either, but...
But yeah, if you were to go on with this cast, we'd be here forever. This movie is star-studded.
Yeah, well, that's what Paul Thomas Anderson likes to do. I mean, he's like Robert Altman. Robert Altman likes to work with the various group of people. He likes the big ensemble cast. So he takes that from him, and he also takes a lot from other directors in this film directly, like Martin Scorsese with the long take, quick cuts, and other stuff like that.
I feel like Paul Thomas Anderson must command a lot of respect in Hollywood.
He does, which is, I don't, like, okay, so his first film was Hard 8. I think he had some trouble with the studio on that. I didn't really read up on it, but I don't know, like, Hard 8 was a good film, I'm guessing, and then all of a sudden he's a guy who can get you Oscars nominations and, like, high prestige.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, but like you even get down to the littler roles in this movie, and you still have William H. Macy, Thomas Jane, Robert Downey Sr., Alfred Molina.
Oh yeah, Alfred Molina.
You have so many roles in the. It is like obviously reminiscent now of Licorice Pizza, where you have Bradley Cooper in a small role, John C. Reilly in the smallest role ever. But yeah, this one's got a big cast. And I don't even know where to start with this one, other than to say it begins in the San Fernando Valley, of course.
Yes, the San Fernando Valley universe.
So this is the first that takes place? Is this before Magnolia?
Yes, Magnolia. Okay, so actually no, this is the second, because in Licorice Pizza is 1974, and this is 1977.
Okay, but chronologically with the movies coming out, this is the first.
This is the first, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
This was 97?
97.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My whole perspective on film dates is The Big Lebowski, so this is pre-Lebowski.
I believe so.
Just pre-Lebowski.
This like a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I believe Lebowski's 98.
Yeah.
But sure. Should I just dig into this synopsis
what's
here?
your synopsis, TJ?
All right. As I said, beginning in 1977 in the San Fernando Valley, Boogie Nights explores the heyday and demise of the professional pornography industry while chronicling the rise of the sensational Eddie Adams, a.k.a. Dirk Diggler, who is discovered by the revered director Jack Horner. Diggler, who runs away from his verbally abusive mother and despondent father, finds a new family in Horner and his associates, who show Dirk the acceptance he's long sought. Within a year, Diggler is the hottest name in adult entertainment, sweeping award shows and living a newfound life of luxury, all while working with Jack and his co-stars to create a landmark porno film that blends sexuality and storytelling to create a movie that can rival even the best that mainstream Hollywood has to offer. However, as the 70s transition into the 80s, sweeping changes within the adult film industry ultimately splinter the crew, threaten their familial bonds, and drive several of them into addiction and desperation. In fact, the film's second and third acts see prostitution, attempted robbery, and battery replace the party vibes off which the characters coasted in the first act. Luckily, though, everyone sees the errors in their ways, sobers up, and returns to work, whether or not that work is still within the adult entertainment industry. And in the end, blood, quote unquote, is thicker than water, and hilarity ensues.
Thank you, DJ.
My pleasure.
Yeah, that was great. So when you say they change, Paul Thomas Anderson actually has a theory about that. He says, I don't think they really changed that much. They may have changed a little bit, you know. We don't know if Julianne Moore's character stopped doing coke, but now she's a director. She's directing film commercials, but we don't know if she's really changed. I mean, we saw her lose the court case for her child, so she lost her child, but I mean, that is all back together. That's the big change.
Yeah, I suppose they kind of use that as an umbrella statement. You definitely see some characters have more profound arcs than others.
Yeah.
I think that you do see some characters stay stagnant. We don't know about Amber, her name is, Julianne Moore's character's name, if she's sobered up per se, but Dirk has, it seems like. It looks like Reed has. He's pursuing a magician career.
Yeah.
You have Buck, who's selling, he finally gets his store.
Yeah.
We'll talk about how he achieves those funds later on. And it really is a family, not a family movie, but it's a movie about a family.
Yeah, having family, yeah.
Family ties. And I think that they do portray characters that, I think you have to have certain sensibilities to work in the porno industry. Mm-hmm. I think that, you know, in Jack's case, you have to be okay watching your steady having sex with other men. A lot of people, frankly, just don't have the security or the willingness to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
But what's so fascinating about this movie is I just knew its its reputation beforehand, that it's about the porn industry. And what I found so fascinating about it is that the pornography and sex in the pornography is not treated as smut in the beginning. These are films.
Yeah.
With full film crews and production and editing. And that is something that we've never seen. And it's such a foreign concept to go sit in a theater and watch a porn.
Yeah, because porn in the 70s really blew up, because 1960s, the fall, I guess, American values, if you want to call it, even though falling way before that. Satan worshiping. Satan worshiping. But, you know, it's all that bullshit. Damn Beatles, yeah. All that bullshit. Well, porno houses were increasing in the 70s. New York was filled with them. Famously, Times Square was full of porno theaters, which a lot of people want back, because it gives back New York that feel of it. But I don't know. I've never been to New York, so I can't tell how the PG era right now is, but whatever about that. But porn was popular. It was huge. Films like Deep Throat and Debbie Does Dallas were hugely popular. Everybody knew them. Everybody went to see them in porno theaters and such. But yeah, like I said, in the 80s, like in the movie, it went to videotape. It became cheaper, it became easier to get, and anybody could do it. Very amateur, exactly.
Absolutely, and that is a huge plot point in this movie.
I don't know if they were critically, because in that one scene when they're reading off the review of it, I don't know what magazine reviews pornos.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
And I actually came across the Roger Ebert review of this movie, and he put it a great way. He said it's basically the parallels between the porn industry and traditional Hollywood it's just the porn industry is just basically in the shadows a little bit more, but they're still chasing the same dreams. They still want to make good products, and they still want to be stars in their industry. And it really is an interesting, I guess, I don't know if I can call it a subculture. Is it a subculture, the porn culture?
Maybe.
You have award shows. Like,
yeah, sure.
These will never be televised.
Yeah, we still have award shows to this day.
Correct. Yeah. And it is fascinating because it is not mainstream, but it is something that is very widely celebrated in private, probably a lot of it. But
well, I think now we have porn stars are popular now than probably were in the 70s, or probably the same level, because now we have, like, I guess, is Mia Khalifa a porn star? I have no idea. I don't really know porn stars, but there are a lot of porn stars that people know, and they watch the videos and stuff like that. But
yeah, if you know of porn stars, Mike and I don't know any, so we don't.
We're not cool enough to hang out with porn
My
stars.
girlfriend can attest that she's never seen me watch porno.
Yeah, okay.
So if you want to comment on these and let us know some of the famous stars and starlets.
Yes.
We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, but porn stars now with social media and like Pornhub, like porn is as accessible as ever now. You can watch anything. You can go on Google and look at porn. Like it's everywhere. So that's not the same problems I had during the 70s and stuff, but in the 80s.
Right, and it is a societal change, really. I don't know how to talk about it without sounding like too dirty, but it's almost like it became an impulse thing, and it really was just about the thrill of that moment of getting off, rather than the thrill of, I guess, watching something for the story. I'll admit, I've never seen a porn with a story. I don't care to. But I said, I couldn't imagine watching a movie, with a plot, a fully produced porno movie.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they went down that spiral, because they realized that now they're not making. They thought they were making movies, like in Hollywood and stuff like that. But it turns out people didn't really care about the movie; they just cared about the porn.
Right.
Like that one scene when Jack and Roller Girl, which amazing name, this whole name. Yeah. When then the cat, when that Venmo and Roller Girl's trying to have sex with the guy, and then the guy knows her from school. Like, your name Barbara? I believe her name was
Brandy,
yeah. And that kind of takes the mysticism away from Roller
It reminds her of her former life. We're to assume, I think, that she ran away from some kind of trauma.
We think so. I don't know.
That's what I took, because Dirk did.
Yeah.
He ran away from his family who he couldn't connect with and found a new family.
Yeah. And
the movie doesn't ask you to judge that in any way. Like, these characters, in the family, they're so chummy. They have no hang-ups about sex, or they no inhibitions or jealousy. They're very supportive of one another, which is so fun to watch. Like, they do have a great chemistry.
Yeah.
And when it does transition into the 80s and everything's videotape and they're trying to be edgier, and it's not about, one of the things that Dirk mentions to Jack early on is, he makes it clear that he respects his female co-stars and he doesn't want to see them abused in any way.
Yeah.
And luckily, we don't get that from this family.
Yeah.
But then you compare that to, I think his name was Johnny Doe, the new star coming up, while Dirk's on his way down, kind of.
Yeah.
And this guy in his, detective video is pointing a gun at the woman who's going down on him, saying, "Suck it, bitch."
Well, then there is shots of Dirk, slapping women, though, while he's saying
the movies.
During the movies, yeah.
Correct, as part of the plot. And that's true, but I would assume that was a staged slap.
That was. But he did say it in the, I'm just playing a character. This is not who I really am. I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that does show a changing of the times, where there was some class in the full production pornos compared to the 80s, where it did get grimy, 80s and beyond, rather, where it got amateurish and less regulated, I suppose.
Yeah.
And none of that shows any better than in that limo scene. When Roller Girl just picks up a random guy. It just feels smuttier for some reason.
It just feels like soulless. Like, Jack just come on. It's just sexy. And the guy's like, I don't care.
Right.
And then it's just like, get out of here.
And Jack's trying to be a professional. The whole time he's been a professional, but in that scene, you pick up a random guy on the street, he's not an actor, he's not trained.
Yeah.
And that is, that scene was going on at the same time that Dirk is, desperate for drug money, right? And he's prostituting himself only to get beaten up by homophobes.
Homophobes,
yeah.
And also, the sort of downfall of each person. Jack, who is now maybe a has-been, and his movies aren't good anymore, and Dirk, a guy who had one special talent, lost that talent because he couldn't get it up. So,
they say that drugs will do that.
Yeah, definitely. He had coke dick. So.
Yes. So, thinly veiled reference to John Holmes he's based on, the famous porn star John Holmes. So much so that they even recreate the Wonderland murder type thing, when John Holmes and a couple friends or drug dealers went to another drug dealer's house, right? And some murders took place, technically unsolved, but Holmes was questioned and detained for a while over that.
Alright, so that was that whole scene. Okay.
Correct.
That was a great scene. Alfred Molina did a great job in that.
Dude, Alfred Molina did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
And so did Paul Thomas Anderson. That scene was so suspenseful.
Yeah, definitely.
They're desperate. And
you're like Reed and you're like Dirk. You're just like, what the fuck's going on?
Get the fuck out of there.
Get the fuck out of there. I'm just waiting, how come they're not leaving?
Yeah, so
there's one moment where it's just a freeze frame of Dirk, just like this, eyes open.
Oh yeah.
And you're just running Dirk, get out of there. But I guess he's either frozen in fear, or he doesn't realize what the fuck's going on. You just gotta stay there.
Right, if you bolt out, that's a red flag. And you know that this armed bodyguard here is inspecting. Basically, the scene we're talking about is when Dirk and Reed and their new friend Todd, who's a male stripper.
Yeah, I didn't know that was Thomas Jane. I don't really know Thomas Jane that well in theaters.
I know him from The Punisher, and then a few episodes of Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Also, a few episodes were with Heather Graham too. But regardless, Todd comes into their makes it a friend triangle, and this is when like the family's kind of splitting up and doing their own things. At this point, Amber has gotten Dirk Diggler into coke, and he's become addicted to it. He and Reed are trying to be musicians, and they're terrible.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
Just awful. They can't pay for their demo tapes.
That was
because
so great.
They spent all their money on drugs. So
you got the touch.
Oh, it was so bad, so off key. And so their buddy Todd, Thomas Jane's character, comes up with the idea to rob a drug dealer. So they package up, I think, like a kilo of baking powder or something like that, and sell it to him for $5,000. And in the meantime, while the bodyguard's weighing it and inspecting it, before he can finish doing that, Todd opens fire on him, and whole gunfight ensues, and Todd dies. Todd gets killed.
Yeah, Todd gets killed because he gets shoot by a shotgun by Alpha Melina, and then they just highball it out of there because like we don't want to get killed. So I'm surprised the Asian kid who was throwing fireworks didn't get shot.
Oh, I meant to mention that actually, because that was, I thought, genius on Paul Thomas Anderson. That scene is so tense, and then those fucking firecrackers going off.
That was so he watched Robert Downey Sr. film, and it kind of had that. It just had a character just throwing fireworks in the air, so he took that and put it in his film.
Oh, okay.
And so he called Robert Downey Sr. and asked him, "Can he do it?" And he said, "Yeah." And
that's perfect, honestly. Yeah. I think that just lent so much
tension and
anxiety. Yeah, absolutely. And for someone who's like coming down on drugs, trying to like swindle an armed drug lord.
Yeah,
I imagine it'd be pretty scary.
Yeah.
It's a well shot scene.
Yeah. Fun fact about that: Alpha Melina has never heard Jessie Girl or Sister. What's it called?
Sister Christian.
Sister Christian. So he listened to a song 3 days. Listened to those songs 3 days straight to memorize them.
Incredible.
Yeah.
He was so funny.
Yeah.
Just randomly taking hits of a crack pipe.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Everybody's like, "What the fuck going on?"
So dirty. There were just parts of this movie, the drug parts anyway, just made me like feel sad.
Yeah.
And I think they're supposed to.
Well, I think Paul Thomas Anderson borrows from the Martin Scorsese kind of way he does it, because in his gangster films, in like Casino, Goodfellas, Mean Streets, maybe not Mean Streets, but maybe a little bit. So it takes like, you see the extravagant side of everything, in the beginning, like in this film, the porn in the 70s. Everybody was having fun. There wasn't really any drama, except when that girl OD'd in that house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got the fuck. But usually
the Colonel's got a type.
Yeah, the Colonel's got a type. So yeah, but that was all handled swiftly, and like nothing happened after that. But everything was having fun. Everybody was winning awards and great. And then they showed the downfall, which is like the most. I want to say he nailed the hammer in when that scene happened. Like when they exactly turned 1980, and William Macy's character shot himself.
That was the transition.
That was just like.
That was the
now
omen.
It's over. It's like snap like that.
That was the omen. And again, I'm not some like fuddy-duddy who's anti-recreational drug use if it's responsible. You do what you want to do. I really don't care. But the way that they frame the drugs, like they never really look glamorized, but they look like they're being used. I mean, let's just be honest. The 70s, it was the Wild West.
Yeah.
Cocaine, right? Like that was like the big.
Yeah, thing. And then in the 80s also, cocaine everywhere. NBA had a huge problem with it. Everybody had a huge problem. It was
absolutely.
It was just shown of like what it does to you. Like you just keep on taking it, and you just feel energized. You burn out.
Well, I think, and I put this down as one of the themes of the movie, is I think that this movie does kind of parallel the vicious cycle of addiction. Yeah. People start using a drug during the good times. It enhances the good times.
Yeah.
Typically, they don't start using drugs or trying a drug when they're down and out. But once they're chasing that high and they give up something. In Dirk's case, he's losing all his money and his fame and his ability to work. Once they hit that rock bottom, they still associate the high times with that substance. And so he's using, by the way, I'm not an expert on this, so I'm probably misspeaking a little bit, but then he's, still turning to the drugs to try and make the bad times feel good. But what they do is they make it worse.
Yeah.
And I think that they do a great job with the scene of Dirk and Reed and Todd all strung out, and juxtaposing that with the scene of Amber right after losing her custody battle, becoming Roller Girl's new mother, quote unquote, while they're just snorting cocaine back and forth. It frames the drug use and it frames everything in such a different light than in the first act. The first act was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. The party scene was great. A lot of people love that scene. It's very famous. Where it's just kind of like a single shot just going around the party. You're seeing people, seeing what they're doing. You see Don Cheadle's character trying to find a new style, trying to be him.
He's got the wig on.
Yeah. Reed is trying to do a can opener with Dirk. I believe that's right. He's in the pool swimming.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I love their little bromance at first.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what Amber's doing, but everybody's just doing random things. You see William H. Macy's character, his wife's fucking another person again, and then it's just like, yeah. That one scene where it's like they're talking about what to do in the film, and like that one scene they messed up because William H. Macy said his line wrong. It's like my wife's right there getting some dick in her pussy.
I saw that. Yeah, I noticed that. That was funny.
So they kept that in because he's supposed to be frustrated because they're talking about a movie while his wife's just having sex and everybody's watching.
Right, he's flustered.
Yeah.
My wife's got an ass in her cock or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, poor little Bill.
I know.
But yeah, it was interesting to see like the actual production, you know, the behind the scenes type of production on that movie, because like I mentioned, I don't, you know, you do have to have a certain sensibility, I think, to work in that industry.
Yeah, because they just had sex, like, because that test to see if Dirk can do it was when they brought him back to the house for the first time, and Olga had sex with him, and Burt Russell, but not Burt Russell, but Reynolds watched. So
right, yeah, and it's again, sex in this movie isn't, you know, something to be done for pleasure. It's a commodity. I mean, I think that they do have pleasure doing it, but it's a commodity, really. And it does put the porn industry in a different perspective. At least for me, it did.
Yeah,
it was interesting.
That was good.
But yeah, things culminate in that New Year's Eve party with little Bill finding his wife once more cheating on him.
Yeah.
And a really well done long shot through the party sees him go from that room he catches his wife in, just solemnly walking outside to his car.
Yeah.
You know when you see him reach over, you know what he's getting. He gets a revolver.
Yeah.
Walks back to the room, all one take, shoots 5 times or whatever, comes back out into the party, and shoots himself in front of the guests.
These movies we watch are just very blatant. They're like, we don't care about censors or whatever. We're just going to show it. And that's what they do in this movie. They show nudity. Also, they show Bill getting his head blown off. You actually see it. You see the blood spatter and everything.
Oh, it doesn't pull punches.
No, it does not. Which I like about the movies like this. Because like sometimes you can't pull punches. You just got to go for it. Let's see. The acting in this film was great. Everybody did great. I feel like each one had a role. Actually wrote down what I think everybody's roles was. Okay, so I think Luis Guzman's character was wannabe porn star. Each time he would just say, like, I need to be in this movie. Let me be in this movie.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle was looking for his look. Trying to find something of himself, basically. That's what he does the whole movie. I love the 80s look, where he looked like somebody from Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was funny.
Yeah. Then, luckily, he found his wife. And he's actually the most, like, successful out of everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I rooted, like, hell for him, too.
Yeah.
He seemed like a genuinely great guy.
That sucked when he got that loan turned down. It was like, why is the loan? Like, he's not doing it for porn, though. He's just trying to make a living now. Like, he's trying to get out of it.
He was just an actor.
He was an actor. John C. Reilly's trying to be the guy. Like, he's trying to be Dirk Diggler. You know, he's like, how much do you lift? And stuff like that. He's trying to be cool. Funny. He does magic tricks to try and impress people.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. But what I love, though, too, is he never gets, like, insecure about Dirk being bigger than him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they have a really, like, genuine-seeming friendship.
Definitely, like, that's a brother relationship they have. They're basically, like, Dirk's the younger brother. He's, like, a little bit older, but they still hang out.
Right.
Yeah. William H. Macy is a cuck, basically. Yeah. Until he finally kills himself and kills his wife and his lover. Philip Seymour Hoffman is the fanboy. Let's talk about Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Sure.
Okay, so he was basically, I think he was basically the fanboy. He was like the guy who sees the idol and he just wants to be with him.
Yeah, he was the boom mic operator.
Yeah, boom mic operator. Yeah. So he just basically sticks around the whole time and is just like, I'll do anything because I love you, Dirk. Yeah. But I know you won't love me back, but he'll just follow him to the end of the earth.
Yeah. And I love, he was so good in this. It's not the most major role, obviously, but he was excellent in it because he shows that he's got just an awkward look about him. Agreed?
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman in this movie. And you want him to be happy. But you know immediately when he brings Dirk in for his first sex scene and he's the one that tells him, all right, they're ready for you. And as they're walking, he says, you look hot. Like, you look really good. Like, and it's so genuine. But you can tell right then and there, okay, I think he's got a crush on Dirk. Mm-hmm. And when he goes to show him at the New Year's Eve party his new car, and he kisses Dirk and catches Dirk off guard, I did like that scene because Dirk isn't, like, mad at him for being
gay. He's
himself. He's just mad, like, you know, hey, you can't just kiss me like that, you know? Like, you know, it's a boundaries thing, and it's funny. I thought that it was just kind of a cute scene. And then, you feel a little bad for him. He's sitting in his car after repeating, I'm a stupid fucker, I'm fucking an idiot, or whatever he's saying. What did you think about him?
I thought the exact same thing. You know, it's just mostly he was just that's his male gaze. Like when we first see Felicity Hoffman, and then he just looks at Dirk Diggler. You see circles, and you see him zoom in, and he's like, "This is my dreamboat. This is what I want." Yeah.
Yeah, and your heart breaks a little with him, knowing he'll never get what he, never get to be with him. Mm-hmm. But he was excellent. He's great in everything he's in.
The Julianne Moore is the lost mother. She's basically mothering all these people, and she can't handle her own kids because of her drugs and what she does for a living. So she has to find something to replace that, and basically the porn stars are them.
I think she's torn between wanting to be a mother and still wanting to have, her life where she's kind of bound by impulses, maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah. She was a very, very gray character to me because at some point,
I think she said she's glad she lost her child at one point or something.
And it sucks to hear that, because I'm not a parent. And I applaud all parents out there who are there for their children. And as much as you want to like Julianne Moore's character at certain times, like it's right that they're not with her.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the right choice.
Yeah. I mean, you understand why, but it's still heartbreaking. She was based on a character named Amber Waves, I believe. She was also a porn star.
Well, that was her name in the movie.
Amber Waves? Okay.
Amber Waves is in the movie.
Okay, maybe I got that fact wrong. But also, it was based on something, based on actual porn star filing for divorce and her troubles trying to get her kids back. Okay. And for Heather Graham, I just have Roller Girl. That's it.
Roller Girl. No explanation.
No explanation. She's just Roller Girl.
She's just a genuinely good person.
Yeah.
Just likes being part of the family.
Well, I think she was just, I don't know, she was like an outcast in school. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know if that was the same guy who did the blowjob motion in the classroom. Was that the same guy who was in the limo?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think it was. They look different to me anyway, but she clearly was...
She was just unhappy. She, the whole scene was like, I don't belong here, and so she just left, and then probably never came back, so...
Right, and she found her place in Jack's little family here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well said.
Definitely.
Very well said.
Okay, let's talk about some scenes in this movie. I don't know. What should we talk about next? Should we do fun facts? Or I don't think
we can go over themes really quickly.
Yeah, let's go over themes.
So the themes that I wrote down that I caught in this movie were coping with the changing of the times. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you have the change in the porn industry. You have Dirk struggling to be the star, the not has been, but the star that's he struggles to cope with the new up and coming star, Johnny Doe. I have crafting familial bonds outside of blood. Obviously, you have this family. Jack is the patriarch. Amber's the matriarch. Confronting addiction's a big one. And then one that I really didn't expect from this movie, but I loved it, was refusing to be defined by your past.
That's true.
Buck struggling to understand why he can't get a bank loan, and rightfully so, why he'd struggle to understand it.
Yeah, it seems like it's like if you're in porn, your life's over. Like you're just like you can't do anything.
The outside world won't understand you. They'll enjoy your work, but in private. I think that almost was the message. That's what I got anyway. Mm-hmm. And then what was the other instance of them trying to escape?
The music recording?
The music recording for sure. Yeah, trying to be like you're not going to be taken seriously as a. I mean, not to mention he's terrible at singing. But, there's almost an air of you're not going to be taken seriously because we know who you are. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a good theme. Did I miss any?
No, I think you basically got it down. Let's go into I guess I call it fun facts of this film. Basically, what everything behind the scenes of everything. So this film is actually based on a mockumentary that Paul Thomas Anderson did called the film The Dirk Diggler Story in 1988. I watched the whole thing for this.
Is it on YouTube or something?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Oh, it's only 30 minutes. I watched it all. It basically is the movie, but really shorter and a lot of different things. Reed is a really buff dude. And actually, the guy who plays Dirk Diggler in the short film actually is kind of like Mark Wahlberg. Like he's kind of muscular, but also not kind of muscular. So, yeah. But okay, so takes a few things from the short film to the movie. Angels Live in My Town was the name of the porn that they did in the short film, and that's also the name of the movie that they did. I believe. What was the porn name? What was the porn movie name? Like the James Bond.
Oh gosh, hold on. It was I remember
Burt Lancaster.
It was Burt something and then Chest something.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Oh, yeah.
Brock Landers and Chest Rockwell.
Yeah, Brock Landers and Chest Rockwell. So that was the name of that movie.
I love how supportive Jack is too whenever they come up with names, because he goes, "Those are fucking great names."
Those are great names.
They are great names. Yeah, I just thought that was funny. It was amusing.
Yeah, the music recording is taken directly from the short film. Like,
really?
Almost scene for scene.
Okay.
Yeah, except the only problem is, the only thing is, like, in the short mockumentary, he's actually not actually singing. He's just singing along with the song. He's, like, lip singing it, but in the actual movie, he's actually singing. And it actually is the scene where it's like, turn down the bass, turn up the lyrics, and it's like, that's actually in the movie.
Yeah, that's funny.
And the action show montage, when they're shooting the movie and they have the guns like pew pew, and like they're doing fake karate, all the time. That's actually in the short. That's in the short film also.
Nice.
So that was cool.
Okay, cool. So he translated a lot of it over.
Yeah, and it really worked. Like even like this was in 1988. He was, I think, still in high school, and it actually worked. But in the mockumentary, Dirk Diggler dies at the end. He dies of a drug overdose. And
I'm glad they didn't go that route with this.
Yeah.
They kind of imply that he has a rejuvenation of his career. They imply that he's sobered up, right?
Yeah.
And that he's ready to make a comeback. No pun intended.
Actually, it was really good. If you want to check it out, go check it out. It's it's on YouTube. It's free. It's really interesting. Okay, so this movie had a budget of $15 million. Box office $43.1 million. I believe that's domestic and worldwide. So, because domestically, I think it goes $26 million. So,
okay.
Siskel, I'm gonna do this new thing where I'm put Gene Siskel and Robert Ebert stars, compare them. Siskel gave it 3.5 stars. Ebert gave it 4 stars.
Nice.
So not really that much of a difference, but I think Siskel does short reviews, like as Roger Ebert does long like articles and stuff. Ebert just basically gives like little short things about each film he watched during that week. Yeah, so
honestly, their show was great.
Yeah,
I know it's obviously been talked about. It's nothing new to say, but they were a great pair together. And I guess I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. So the box office in 1997. This is domestic. These are the top 10 films according to Box Office Mojo. Men in Black was number 1. Lost World, Jurassic Park number 2. Liar Liar number 3. That's a surprise. I think that was that much of a hit. I knew it was a hit, but not that much. Air Force One number 4. Star Wars 1997 Special Edition.
Of course.
Was number 5. My Best Friend's Wedding was number 6. Titanic was number 7, which is surprising because that was the biggest movie.
That was like the highest grossing.
I guess it's not domestically. I guess like internationally maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I could Box Office Mojo could be wrong. I don't know. 8 is Face Off, which is amazing.
Yeah.
9 is Batman and Robin. 10 is George of the Jungle.
Wow. So this didn't even sniff the top 10.
No, it's not the best year in movies. Like there's some good films, some not good films that at least that were grossly high rated. Rank of this movie.
Yeah, when Batman and Robin's in your top 10.
Yeah, so this movie, Boogie Nights, was ranked out of 200 films on the website, 78 out of 200.
Wow.
Yeah. Number one film during its release was The Devil's Advocate.
Okay.
Yeah, the Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino film.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think he gets a blowjob doing that movie, where it's like, oh yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's really bad, but it's insane.
Have you seen it?
No, but I've seen reviews of it and stuff. Yeah. The Oscars for this movie, it was only nominated for 3 categories. Best Actor in Supporting Role, Burt Reynolds, which he lost to Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
Julianne Moore, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, lost to Kim Basinger in LA Confidential.
It's also a great role, actually.
Yeah, and Best Writing Screenplay written directly for the screen, lost to Good Will Hunting.
This one just ran into a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
One team's got to win, one team's got to lose.
Yeah, that was the big Titanic year, so mostly everything was mostly to Titanic except for screenplay and...
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I guess let's go into our final thoughts then of this movie.
Sure.
Okay. So this movie is basically the Paul Thomas Anderson formula, which is the Robert Altman formula, which is basically just... The film doesn't really have a plot. It's just characters, and you just fall in love with these characters and get to know these characters. And basically, it just all cultivates into one giant thing at the end, and that giant thing was probably the drug scene. Mm-hmm. And it was just great. Like, I used to not like movies without plot in them, but I'm beginning to enjoy them more because these characters are just great. It's basically, I think great directors let actors kind of do what they want. They direct them a little bit, but basically, they just go with them wherever they feel like it, and these actors are amazing. And Paul I was about to say Paul Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg did an amazing job playing a very innocent kid in the beginning, and then when he grows up, he just changed into a total different person. Burt Reynolds, it's always this Burt Reynolds. He did an amazing job playing, I guess, the stern father figure in this film, but also like as a companion and confidant. Mm-hmm. It's basically the rock that held the family together. Julianne Moore was great for her role. Like, everybody was great for the role. John C. Reilly was amazing. I would recommend this movie. This movie is what filmmakers, I think, love to do. I think this is I would say, like a filmmaker's film. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I would definitely go out and watch it again. Yeah, so let's get, like, a star rating 4 stars out of me.
Nice. I agree with everything you're saying here. I think that everything fires on all cylinders in this movie. Yeah, the plot can be minimal at times. It really is just... But that's how life is. Not everything in life has a narrative. You know what I mean? Like, there are here and there. But realistically, a lot of what we see in our lives is people, us and people around us adapting to changes as they come. And this is what this movie, I think, is very largely about. And the characters that we see here, they are kind of in their own little world, but they're not totally detached from reality. And we grow. It is kind of like a coming-of-age tale, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really
is. How one grows up and then goes through something. It's kind of like the hero's journey a little bit. Like you...
Kind of, yeah.
In the beginning you're something else, and you go through a major change, and you become a different person. Right. Better or worse, you become a different person.
Right, and we see that especially, I would say, with obviously Dirk. We see it with Roller Girl to a little less extent, but I think that there's still some change there. Yeah. Definitely some growth there.
Like Julianne Moore's character, she's directing now more than she probably did before. And
I love how they do, several of the characters do branch away from the porn industry because, frankly, now that things are done cheaper,
like
there's no need for
John C. Reilly said, you can't fuck forever. You can't be in the porn industry forever, so you gotta do something else. So.
Right, and they do that without them being so melodramatic about it. I love that he's a magician, and that Buck has his hi-fi store, and we didn't even get to talk about how he got the money. That was a brutal scene.
That scene. I was going to...
donut shop
The donut shop
scene.
scene. Let's talk about it a little bit now, then.
But basically, he gets the money from a donut shop, and it's a remarkable scene.
Yeah, because I knew something was going to happen, because when you wear all white, that means blood's going to spill.
The cue.
That's the cue.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just glad it wasn't.
I thought he was going to die. I was like, no, don't kill Buck. Like, don't do it.
About it, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, he got his money, because he wasn't going to get anywhere else, so he had to do something. So
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
No witnesses. But regardless, you mentioned the hero's journey. It's kind of funny. I had the thought of all things, with great power comes great responsibility. And before you laugh, because it's stupid, but all Dirk wanted was, he said that he's given this one gift and he wants to know what to do with it. And once he's found that he's revered for it within the industry, it kind of goes to his head. Mm-hmm. And by the end of it, after he's gotten strung out and rehabilitated and he's put life, I think, in a new perspective, he realizes, I do have this gift. It's still worth giving.
Yeah.
But I think he learned a new humility for it.
Definitely.
From it. And
in the end of the short film, it actually says, like, at the very end, like, a quote from Dirk Diggler saying, all I wanted was a 78 Corvette and a small house in the country. That's it.
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
Yeah. I think he got too much success too quickly, and
it all went to his head.
And luckily it seems like he bounced back in the end.
Yeah.
I thought this was, honestly, I went into the first half hour of this movie, I didn't know what to expect, obviously. And I was just like, oh man, this movie's a trip. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. I ended up loving these characters, rooting for all their success, except Todd. Fuck him. And that's, what's his name? Thomas Jane's character. But I think you're
he's dead, so it doesn't matter.
Right, but like, I was just happy that they more or less all ended up in a good place.
Yeah.
I left this movie, despite it being about John Holmes, more or less, I left it with a good feeling and a new appreciation for Paul Thomas Anderson. This is no small feat making this movie.
Yeah.
And this, obviously didn't crack the top 10. You're kind of fighting an uphill battle with studios, with producers.
Yeah, he actually did. I don't think this film was called Boogie Nights, but he had problems with, like, studios changing his name of his films and stuff, so that's why he fought so hard with them, because he wanted this to be an NC-17 movie and 3 hours long. He had a rated R movie and a movie that's 2 hours and 35 minutes long, so he's done by, like, 20 minutes mostly. Mm-hmm. But he still completed a lot. So what would you give this, if you had to rate this movie, what would you rate it?
Shit, I'd give it a 4 stars. I can't find any flaw with it.
Yeah.
It's a long movie, and I was surprised by how long it was. But But there's not a scene that I think could be cut, and it wouldn't, adversely affect the movie.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy was supposed to be in this movie, but they did cut him out of it.
Yeah, get him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like how he looks. He just creeps me out.
Yeah.
But
speaking of long dongs, oh sorry, finish.
No, speak of long dongs.
Okay, we finally saw a dick in this movie.
Yeah,
we finally saw a dick. We've been waiting.
That was so funny.
We've been waiting for so long to see a dick.
That was so funny.
And we finally saw it. How was it? How was your dick experience?
He stood up and undid his pants, and I was just like, wow, are they actually going to show it? Are they going to show it? And sure enough, they showed it, and I was like, wow, bravo. I mean, I just thought it was funny. I started laughing.
I was focused in. I was like, we're finally going to see it. I turned off, I put my phone down, did everything. Here we go. And then boom.
Tunneled in on that.
Tunneled down the dick. Exactly.
I thought it was ingenious because the whole movie they make it a point not to show it, but all you see characters' reactions, right? You see the Colonel's reaction to it. You see Jack's reaction to it, Roller Girl's reaction to it, and you never see it. And then just the last scene, they just decide to grace the audience with it.
That's what John
effectively funny.
That's what John Holmes used to do before filming porns. He used to pump up and like.
Really? Oh, like Psych himself.
Psych himself, yeah.
I love those scenes too when he'd do like the karate
in the mirror. That was great.
Yeah, that was funny. And psych himself up.
Yeah.
But no, that was really funny. And of all things, have you seen the Simpsons movie or no?
Yeah.
The scene when Bart's skateboarding naked and they make it a point to cover it up in all these goofy ways.
Yeah.
And there's that 1 second scene where he's just not covered up. And you see it and it's like, whoa, oh my God. That's kind of what I immediately thought of. But no, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
In the end, I'm glad they had that scene because it was just so silly.
Yeah. All right, so let's go into the background of this film a little bit. So a lot of the people who are in the film regretted being in the film for various reasons. Burt Reynolds didn't even want to do it in the beginning, but Paul Thomas Anderson just kept on asking him, and he's like, "You'll get an Oscar nomination if you do this," and he was like, "Fine, I'll do it," and he did it. But he had a lot of problems with Paul Thomas Anderson. He fought him one time. They got in a fist fight. They're basically yelling at each other like a lot during the filming. He was going to be in Magnolia, Burt Reynolds, but after all that happened, he was like, no, I'm not going through that. And also he distanced himself from the film, like when they were premiering it and viewing it. Yeah. So that's why he probably didn't win the Oscar. So.
Oh, he didn't play the game. That's sad because he was excellent in this.
Yeah.
He was very good.
Many people... also, Mark Wahlberg kind of regrets being in this film because now he's a devout Christian or Catholic with like 3 kids.
Didn't it make his movie career?
Kind of, yeah. Because it was...
Before this...
No. Before this, it was... He did Basketball Diaries and like a few other films, but then this film kind of brought him out into Hollywood. Yeah. Gave credibility to him not being just Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
And I understand that he was recommended for the role by Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Heather Graham could not really get work after this film because it was 1997 this was released, and so 2 years after this she got The Spy Who Shagged Me, which helped her out, but she was about to star in a softcore porn. Softcore film.
Kevin Spacey was getting work left and right.
Yeah, so yeah, that
makes sense.
So that's why she regrets it. Let's see what else. Oh yes, a lot of people visited porn sets to get a case of what porn is actually like. Burt Reynolds visited. He mostly just wore he wanted to wear plastic gloves, and basically the whole time he was there, the porn stars was asking him, "How do you get your CGA card?" So
oh God.
Yeah. The girl who played William H. Macy's wife, what's her name?
Nina Hartley.
Nina Hartley invited William H. Macy to a porn set, so that's where you learn that. And he also Nina Hartley gave a gift to all the people who worked on the film. It was all pornos that she started.
Oh my God.
So Macy has a copy of Nina Hartley's Guide to Anal Sex from 1996.
Amazing.
Yeah. The dialogue in the porn scenes when they're shooting was actually from real pornos, so that way people won't complain it is fake.
Sounded authentic.
Yeah. And of course Ron Jeremy, Paul Thomas Anderson hang out with Ron Jeremy for research.
Sure.
All that stuff. Mark Wahlberg still has the penis.
Oh my God.
He has the fake penis. It's deteriorating now because it's made out of biodegradable rubber and foam.
Is it on his nightstand with all his adult film awards?
Probably.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I will say, I imagine that this is accurate to how the porn industry... I feel like it is tight-knit. I feel like it is kind of its own community. Don't you think? Because don't you think they're ostracized by a lot of groups?
Well, definitely. I mean, you can see this in the movie,
yeah.
you can't really become a really professional businessman because you're in a porn.
Right.
You know, like, what was Mark Wahlberg going to do after porn? Like, he's not going to get a regular job anymore, so...
He's going to sing.
He's going to sing, yeah.
Off key. But yeah,
So
I feel like it seemed authentic to somebody who knows very little about the actual porn industry. It seemed very authentic.
Yeah. The oil painting of Dirk Diggler sold for $500 on eBay.
Oh,
I would love that oil painting.
so
Those
funny.
are so great.
those were funny.
Yeah.
Weren't they done up by the star that inevitably married Buck?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were.
that's
Yeah,
what I thought.
definitely. So that's mostly it. Like, based on John H. Holmes. Not John H. Holmes. Sorry, I'm thinking of the serial killer.
Oh God, H.H. Holmes.
H.H. Holmes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's mostly it. I guess let's go into my Red Buttons MVP.
Real quick, I have a random note that I want to
Okay.
point out.
Mhm.
I noted that this was another PTA movie where a character runs out of gas. Being, John
Oh,
Peters.
yeah.
I wonder, is that a theme in his movies?
I don't
Did you
know.
see that in Magnolia?
Maybe.
I don't remember if it happened in There Will Be Blood. But that's all. Yeah. Please carry on with the Red Buttons MVP.
Okay, so this is really tough because all these actors did amazing. Now I'm wondering, like, what should the Red Buttons MVP be? Like, should it be just the best thing in what I think is the best actor in the movie, or the best thing in the movie, or should
with your gut.
or should it go to with people who are in it for like a supporting role or a small role and be rewarded for it? Because that's what basically Red Buttons was. He wasn't the star of
Ooh.
They Shoot Horses, Don't They? He was basically the side character, but he was a major thing in the movie. It was a great thing. So, but I think I'm going to give it to John C. Reilly because he was amazing during this whole film. He played his part perfectly. He made me laugh so much.
Yeah, he was a pleasure to watch.
He was great. The magic tricks were great. When the final scene of him doing magic where the girl's topless, and
Yeah.
he's like, I did it!
Yeah, how naughty of you, Candy, or whatever he says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a delight to watch.
Yeah, this was definitely like, I think this was, he was in Code 8, I believe it was called, or Hard 8, I forget what the movie was called. He was in Paul Thomas Anderson's first film, so this film really helped him break out even more in Hollywood.
Good.
Definitely. Hopefully it did. Yeah, John C. Reilly's a really good actor. He's actually in my favorite war movie of all time, Casualties of War.
Ooh, I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's Brian De Palma, so it's very outrageous and but it's really great. I love it.
Nice.
But yeah, so John C. Reilly's my Red Buttons MVP.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
So TJ, do you want to play a game?
Let's play a game.
Okay.
So, if you're new to this, I have 10 clues here centered around a specific movie. Michael is going to lock in whenever he thinks he knows the movie, and he's not going to blurt it out so that if you're playing along at home, you can play along still. Now, last week, you correctly guessed the usual suspects at clue 10. Now,
Yeah.
I understand the feedback was that the clues were a bit too hard, so I've eased up a little bit here. And hopefully this one's a little more fair, okay?
Okay.
So, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. The director of this film has a penis. No, I'm just kidding. This film came out in 1987. Clue number 2. This film is inspired by true events but takes great liberties with characters' names and specific events. Clue number 3. The film was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Of those nominations, it only won for Best Supporting Actor. Clue number 4. Fashion designer Giorgio Armani provided costumes for the film, and he recommended Don Johnson for the lead role. Note, Johnson did not take the lead role. Clue number 5. The main character in the film engages in several gunfights throughout the movie. However, his real-life counterpart was uncomfortable with firearms and never actually shot anybody. Clue number 6. Marlon Brando refused $5 million for 2 weeks' worth of work to be the film's antagonist. The role ultimately went to another alum of the Godfather series.
1987. Oh my God,
Don't worry, I think you're going to get this. These will start to ease up.
Okay.
I just don't want you to get it like in Clue 4. That's my goal.
Alright.
Clue number 7. This film arguably features the most famous baby in peril scenes in motion picture history.
Okay. 1987, Baby in Peril. Stars Al Pacino's in it, correct? Or
No, I didn't say that. An alum of the Godfather series.
Alan McGovern was nominated for 4 Oscars. I think it was Die Hard at first, but I thought Die Hard was never nominated for an Oscar.
Regrettably, no.
No.
Clue number 8. This film would be the first of 2 movies based on Paramount Pictures television shows that this film's director would helm. The second movie is Mission Impossible. Clue number 9. Actors considered for the lead role of the film include Mel Gibson, Mickey Rourke, William Hurt, Rutger Hauer, Christopher Lambert, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Malkovich, and Michael Keaton. Ultimately, however, the role went to an actor that director Brian De Palma was hesitant to cast.
Okay.
Because he was relatively unexperienced.
It's not Platoon. Platoon was Oliver Stone. What did Brian De Palma do in 97? Not Dressed to Kill. I watched that one. What was it? 1987, Brian De Palma. 1987.
Do you want any clues repeated?
I want to get 10?
I'll give you 10, but yeah, because I feel like there's one that you're overlooking.
4 Oscars, baby scene.
Paramount Pictures television shows. The second one being Mission Impossible. So it's based on a TV show.
A new TV show that came out now, like an old TV?
No. From before the movie.
Way before the movie. 1987. Brian De Palma.
I just love that Brian De Palma did not want to cast the lead actor and went through so many other choices first.
Oh, I'm stumped. I don't know.
I was going to give you the actor's name in that one, but you'll get this. You'll get this in Clue 10. Don't worry. There was a brief discussion that a prequel film would be produced called Capone Rising, which would star Nicolas Cage in the title role.
I think I got it. I'm locking it in.
If I had told you the actor's name in Clue 9, you would have gotten it then. So I'll give you Clue 9, because I initially had the name in there, but I deleted it. Just for our audience's sake. Alrighty. So, those were our 10 clues. Michael has written down The Untouchables, and you are correct.
All right.
Great work.
Yes.
Great work. So, the LM of the Godfather series. I feel like he won an Academy Award for Godfather 2. No one ever thinks about it, though. Robert De Niro as young Vito Corleone in that movie. But good.
Man, that was hard. I forgot Brian De Palma directed.
Was that at least a little more fair?
Yeah, that was a little bit more fair. Yeah.
And I am going to diversify away from crime movies. I don't know why I just Untouchables came down.
Never seen The Untouchables.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah, seen JFK though. I know those movies aren't.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, that was great.
So we're thinking about a little spin-off series, and if you want to give us any feedback, please let us know. But they'd be little one-offs where we take movies that we've seen and really like, and the other has not seen.
Yeah,
and we make them review it.
Yeah, like the original plan for the show, but we decided to scrap that.
Correct.
But, yeah.
So, for instance, you would watch The Untouchables, and I would watch JFK.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Kevin Costner movies.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
thanks for playing, Michael. Good work.
Thank you. This game's fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Stumped me. Okay, then. Yes, one final thing to do is to select next week's movie.
And next week we'll read a script.
Yes, next week we'll read a script. I have it right here. It's called The Crush.
I can't wait. He's giving me a copy for me to study my lines.
If you want.
No, it's all right.
It's not the 1993 film The Crush either, starring Alicia Silverstone. It's a different movie.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, so the last two films we have are Magnolia and Time Bandits. Let's see what we got. Here we go! Time Bandits!
Time Bandits it
Doing
is.
the final Terry Gilliam film. Get ready for some fucking weirdness.
Bittersweet, isn't it?
Okay, well then, I'm Mo, and I guess nobody really wants to fuck me.
And I'm TJ, and I have to go to apologize to my girlfriend's devout Christian family.
Yes. Okay, bye everybody. See ya.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Let's have Robert Mitchum play us out. If you like our podcast, then please like, subscribe, follow, or whatever you have to do to listen. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Anchor, and hopefully more podcast streaming services soon. Follow us on Twitter at @it_Dammit, and on our Facebook page, It's Still New to Us, because Facebook hates us. Thanks for listening.